Hello and welcome to another UQ Ventures video. This video will be talking about business models. More specifically, why do we even need a business model? Why is it important to come up with a good sound business model for my enterprise? And why do I do it from the beginning? So what a business model is an outline, a map of how your organization will create value, how it will deliver the value, and then how it will capture value. In other words, it's the engine of your company, and you will have materials into this engine, then the engine will work. How does the engine work? What are the different parts of the engine? And how are you going to produce the output that you desire? In the following video, we will be covering a few topics that are really important to understand before you build your first business model. Telling a good story, how business models allow us to tell a good story, how there's a narrative, and how it is important to tie this narrative to the numbers in your business model. And also, what are the critical tests that you need to be aware of so that your business model works and does not fail. So what does it mean? What do we mean with telling a good story in a business model context? Well, Margareta describes this as a business model is like a story, and you've got to tell the story of your product, what it does, where is the value that it unlocks, who is your customer, and what does your customer value. It's not about you. It's really, this is really important. It's about your customer. So you start with your customer. You've got to be sure who your customer is, and you need to understand what does value mean for your customer? What does your customer value most, and what does your customer value less? Is your customer your user? This might not be the same person. So you start with your customer and with the value you're bringing to your customer. There's also two sides to the story. On one side, how will you produce your product? How are you going to produce or create your service that you want to deliver? So there's a whole side around logistics, costs, and how are you going to go about creating your product? On the other side, how are you going to sell this product? Will you have different channels to sell it? How are you going to build up your price? These are really important components to take into account in a business model canvas, which is a really useful tool to deliver business models. You have these both sides very clearly on each side of the canvas. So think about this, start to think about these things, use the business model canvas. It will really help you put all these together into one good structure. Now, this narrative, this story cannot stand alone. You need the numbers to back it up, and you need also the numbers to add up to make sense. So the economics of your project need to make sense, and they need to be sustainable over time. So usually this is a spreadsheet or whatever format you use, but the economics need to add up. So how are you going to make money? Will you make money, actually? Will you make money? What are the costs? What are the revenue? And how will this evolve over time? Now, these numbers will only be good as long as your assumptions are good. So it is really, really important that you are very aware of which are your underlying assumptions on which these numbers are built in. So you will build a spreadsheet with an X amount of sales or an X amount of products made. But what is driving these numbers? How much do you expect to sell? How much do you expect to produce? How much do you expect people to pay for your service or your product? These underlying assumptions are very, very important. Untested underlying assumptions are guaranteed to at least make you have a really, really hard time lifting up your enterprise. So you have to go test your assumptions, be very aware of how you're building up your economics. So treat your economics as a hypothesis, really important. And then as you go out there and start to deliver and produce your product, you will adjust your spreadsheet, and you will adjust your story as well. In the end, the business model is a system. It's just a description of a system of how your business will fit together. And it should allow you to tell a story about your business, and also it should allow you to show that your business will be sustainable